class all day.
I see no reason why gunpowder treason
You shouldn't wear my
should
dress.
ever be
No,
forgotten.
that's too small
I
for you.
suppose it's the only poem I really remember. But it's more of a nursery rhyme.
So you can turn the volume up.
And like most
You've got the
nursery
wrong
rhymes,
control.
it has been dark
Yeah,
undertones. Obviously the poem is about old Guy Fawkes. In November 1605 he was caught under the Houses of Parliament with 36 barrels of gunpowder. Fawkes and his co-conspirators were Catholic revolutionaries who wanted to blow up King and Parliament in the hope of starting a rebellion. But Fawkes was caught and the conspiracy was uncovered. All of the conspirators were killed. Some of them, like Fawkes, were hung, drawn and quartered. But that wasn't the end of the story.
That's no
There's
pizza.
been lots of other big events in British history, but not many people can reel off the date they happened. The gunpowder plot, though, is very different. And the memory was made more powerful by a decision that was made by the government after the plot.
Who's this man? We know him.
They passed a law
Tuffers.
saying the foiling of the plot had to be celebrated in every church in the land.
Of course it is. I thought it must be some local
Every
person
year,
from here.
people met in churches like this and were told tales of the gunpowder plot. The law and oppression of the Catholics lasted until the mid-19th century, ensuring the gunpowder plot was, as the poem says, never forgotten. In fact, the poem itself is evidence of that, as experts think that it was written in the early 1800s, 2 centuries after the plot was foiled. One place where you might think they'd want to forget is St Peter's School in York. 3 of the plotters included Guy Fawkes, 'twas his intent to blow up King and Parliament. 70 barrels of powder below to prove old England's overthrow. So Guy Fawkes, what do you think he was like as a man?
Well, he must have been a brave soldier, because he fought for the Catholics in the Netherlands, and that's where he got his experience of gunpowder from. And he was prepared to go the whole way to fight for those spiritual principles.
Traditionally, he's been known as the main villain. Is that fair?
Not at all. We don't think he's a villain at all at St Peter's. He wasn't the man who led the plot. There were 13 others, and he was just one of those 13.
He's not a
The
terrorist.
plot and the uncovering of it gave the government the opportunity to crack down on Catholics. And in fact, the poem is all about using that to discriminate against Catholics. That went on for centuries.
So there he is, the main man himself.
The most infamous old Peterite in our history. He had the courage of his convictions. We admire him for what he stood for, but we don't exactly condone that somebody who was trying to blow up the king.
Remember the 5th of November. It's a nursery rhyme, really, but if you dig a bit deeper, there's a lot more to it. And now, I think it's time to revive a good old-fashioned bonfire night tradition. Penny for the guy, anyone? Penny for the guy?
Yeah.
Penny for the guy.
Smyth would have been really excited having the cricket.
Never mind penny for the guy. Tonight we're asking you to give your pennies for pubs.